Why Jesus cannot be a why Jesus cannot be God just using the Bible, or more specifically the New Testament. Why the New Testament debunks the idea that Jesus is a God. And we're going to be looking at the whole Bible, including the Old Testament. So here we go. Jesus is seen as a man according to the New Testament. Jesus is a true human being. It is clear from the verses below that he is indeed a man. And I'll be getting into the Greek word used for man in the next slide. So we see in Acts chapter 2 verse 22, Acts chapter 2 verse 23, Acts chapter 17 verse 31, 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 5, Romans chapter 5 verse 15, Jesus is seen as a man, or is called a man, by people like Peter in Acts chapter 2 verse 22, etc. So getting to the Greek word for man in the Greek New Testament is anthropos. The Greek word anthropos means a human being, whether male or female, generically to include all human individuals, to distinguish man from beings of another race or order. So the Greek word used, anthropos, in the Greek New Testament refers to man, like I'm a man. It refers to a normal human being, it's not a supernatural man or a supernatural being. The Bible says God is not a man. In Numbers chapter 23 verse 19, Hosea chapter 11 verse 9, Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. So, according to the Bible, God cannot be a man. And of course, Christians cannot get rid of the Old Testament. They have to respect and follow the theology of the Old Testament, because of course the New Testament says follow the Old Testament. The conclusion here is that Jesus is a man, and according to the Bible, God cannot be a man. Thus, using that logic, we can see that Jesus is not God and is a man. And as a man, Jesus cannot be God. And Jesus cannot be the God-man, because man cannot become a God and God cannot become a man, according to the Bible itself. So these verses disprove Jesus as being some kind of God-man or man-God, etc. Jesus is a man, and man is separated from God.